Hello everyone, this is Pastor Lon, homesteading pastor, along with my oldest son, Bradley. Bradley, wave at the camera. Tell him hello. Say hello.
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 Hey camera.
Hey camera. I just wanted to get on here for a little bit today. I'm not going. I don't have the Bible in front of me. I don't have any scripture, not to read at least. This is raw footage. Haven't been rehearsed or anything. I don't have any notes. But I just wanted to jump on here for a moment, and we'll try to get Bradley and Michaela on camera as much as we can. I'm going to try to get them on camera more than we have, and Corey and Gavin if they want to, but they're not crazy about being on camera. But we may get them on here one day. But anyway, I want to talk a little bit about Bradley, and just we've already told you a lot about him, but his deafness and blindness and a mini stroke before he was born in his mother's womb, in Miss Robbie Lynn's womb. And he's got a lot stacked against him, and he's had since before he was ever born. But at the same time, he's an overcomer. He's overcome a lot of things in his life, and seemed like everything's set him back, and he would overcome it every time. Bradley wasn't blind. He was legally blind, but not completely blind until he was 7 years old. And he went completely blind when both of his retinas attached, and retina attached in each eye. But he's overcame so much, and I just wanted to share a few things with you that he has to use on a daily basis. I just want to encourage you with using him tonight, because you can be an overcomer too. You've heard the story about Bradley. I'm going to try to share a little bit more with you tonight about his story, just a little bit. But this cane right here, he has to wear this cane. It's got the red on it to let the public know that he's blind. Got the little roller on the end. He scans the ground or the whatever he's walking on in front of him, back and forth. That's how he gets around. And not only that, he's because of the stroke that he had, his weaknesses, he has to wear these braces on his feet and on his legs every day. Now he don't have them on now because he was inside, and I just wanted to bring him out here to do this video with him. But he wears these every day, and that's got to be a challenge for him too, because he can't flex and move his legs and feet like you and I can. But so he's got this, he's got the cane, he's got the braces, he also has the hearing aid he's got in now, and it's a lot better than it was. But I don't know if it's the batteries go dead on it so quick or whatever, but he has a lot of problem with wax buildup, as you can imagine, because he keeps having to put that hearing aid in his ear every day. And I guess it kind of, we try to get it cleaned out for him on ways we have to do that, but it just seems like you can't keep it as clean as you'd like to. But nevertheless, I just wanted to share, I should have asked him before we started, he was real young one time down at the beach. Just one little story about his life. We're at the beach, and he was very, very young. He just started walking good. And Robin and I were getting ready to go out in the boat. We had a beach house there on the main channel in Cherry Grove, South Carolina. And she and I were getting ready to get in the boat and go flounder fishing or riding or whatever. And Robbie's aunt, she's passed away since then, but she was like Bradley's second mama. I mean, she watched over him, she babysat him, and she was there with him at the little kiddie pool that he had. And Bradley was in the pool playing around, and Wanda was her name. She was there watching Bradley, and he was playing, and all of a sudden he got out and was walking around on the cement. And not her fault at all. Could have happened with Robin and I sitting there, but Bradley got out and was running around before she could catch up with him, and he slipped and fell, and his forehead hit this was after he'd had one of the major surgeries of his forehead. He hit that cement floor, and it busted his head open right across his eye. And time it slapped like that, and I untied one end of the boat, but not the other. And I told Robbie right then, I said, that's not good. And I tied the boat back up, and we rode back up there, and Wanda was crying, and he was crying somewhat, but Bradley's so tough, stuff like that don't really bother him. But nevertheless, he was bleeding. I ran upstairs and got some ice and put in a rag and put on you can see his skull right there where he just busted it open. So we jumped in the truck, me, him, and Robbie, and Robbie's mama, and we was going down the road. Now, I never forget, it was going down the road, and Robbie was holding him and crying and praying, and Bradley he's done chilled out, he's done calmed down. He looked up at his mama and said, "It's going to be all right, mama." And he's the one with a busted open head. He's the one with blood running down his face until she stopped it. But he looked up at her and said, "It's going to be all right, mama. It's going to be all right." And That's been a many years ago, and I've never forgotten that. And Bradley, you know, I think about when I'm having a rough day at work, or I complain about my day at work or my day in general, and then I think about him fumbling around with his cane, trying to find his way to the bathroom or find his way to the eating table or whatever. But he reads a lot of Braille books, and when you put in perspective of what he deals with on a daily basis, the darkness that he lives in, the quietness, the deafness that he lives in, if his hearing aid's not working right, you and I got a lot to be thankful for and grateful for. But he's an overcomer. Everything that tried to come against him, he was able to overcome it. I'm talking about from craniofacial surgeries to many other little minor surgeries he had on his eyes, to the stroke that he had early on, the problem with his legs and his feet, to have to wear the braces to correct that, using the cane because then he went completely blind at 7 years old. Then in 2015, not long ago, he has been dealing with a kidney disease and all of his life, and ended up having to have a kidney transplant, and that worked out well for him. He ended up getting a real good kidney from a young guy. Unfortunately, that guy passed away, and we hate that for that family. But what it done, it encouraged me to be an organ donor. I never signed up to be an organ donor, never had it on my license or whatever. But when I seen the life that this, unfortunately, this guy that passed away, I seen the life and the strength and the energy and excitement he put back in my son, because he was able to receive this guy's organ that he donated, and no doubt his organs probably helped many other people that were, whether it was a heart transplant, kidney, liver, or whatever. But all I know is it helped my son, and for that I am grateful. I don't know if my organs will be any good for anybody, but they aren't going to do me any good when I leave this world. So if they can use them, they can have them to help anybody that they can. But he's overcome so much, and Robbie's sister Dawn bought him this book, Braille book. It's got all kind of animals in it, and the title of it is Animals Knowledge You Can Touch. If you can see that, Knowledge You Can Touch. I know it's kind of blurry up there. But anyway, he sits in there and reads this, and they said, well, let's give him a challenge, because he always reading the books of Disney characters, and Scooby-Doo, and Bear in the Big Blue House, and all these things he's read all of his life. So they gave him this book to challenge him. Well, he's already read this book about reptiles and mammals and all different kinds of animals, and he can tell you anything about any animal pretty much that's in this book. And he's already memorized it from front to back.
I keep the rest of my book in my bookshelf too.
Right, he keeps the rest of his books in his bookshelf. You want to read a little bit for him? Read some of that. Read loud.
Animal group. Animals are other living things that feed on other living things, such as plants and meat. Into group animals and into their future. Mammals such as cat have fur. Birds are the only animals to have feathers. Reptiles such as snakes and crocodiles have dry scaly skin. Fish live in water and braided gill. Amphibians such as frogs live partly in water and partly on land.
Amphibians.
Invertebrate, including insects, have no backbone.
Did you get all that? He's memorized the whole book. I mean, it's unbelievable. He can't see it at all, but he reads it with his fingers, reads it, it's Braille all the way through. And just keep on reading about it if you want to.
Largest on land, rhinoceros.
Rhinoceros.
Human child. Rhinoceros can grow twice as tall as a child, yet they eat mostly leaves and fruit. They live on African grassland.
Hold up. Wait a minute. He said a child, it's got a picture of the child, talking about the largest animals on land. If you see that, it's got the child over here, and it's got the rhinoceros there, and it shows the elephant. Talks about the largest animals on land. It was just comparing that. That's why you heard him say a little child. Keep on reading.
Rhinoceros have two horns, which are made from hair. Small horn, large horn. Elephant are the largest animals on land. The biggest spiky African elephant can grow to 4 or more pounds, 13 feet tall. Elephant tusks are their front or into teeth. little critters. How small? Many animals are small enough to fit on your hand. Those here are life-size. Child's hand. Greater horseshoe bat. Ruby tortoise human bird. Exotic
Be loud, they can hear you.
sweet frost. Common goldfish. African flower beetle. Italian tall lizard.
Italian wall lizard. Let's hold up right there. So as you can see, he can read very well, reading Braille, and he can read right on through this whole book. I can just let him go and read the whole book to you, because he loves to read. And like I said, he's just an overcomer. He's overcome so much, and I'm so glad that I know the guy's name, but I can't call it right now, that invented Braille years ago. And man, he really opened up a whole nother world for kids and adults like Bradley that's blind to be able to read. And my wife tells me all the time that if I would read more, I could go more places. And I know she's right. Reading will take you places you never dreamed you could go, and teach you stuff you never dreamed you would ever be taught. But he reads all the time. I remember when he was a little boy, a little kid, I used to get on him about going to bed early so he could get up and go to school the next day. And I'd go in there later on to check on him before I went to bed. He's supposed to be asleep 2 hours ago. And I'd go in there, and the lights were off, of course, because he was asleep, supposedly. And when I went in there, he would be reading, had the book under the cover, just reading away. He reads by Braille, so he don't need any light. But I just wanted to take a little time to get him on here with me tonight. And it's a nice, cool evening here in South Carolina. And Robbie Lynn and Corey, my next oldest son, they're going shopping tonight. And I just want to get Bradley out here for a little while and talk to you about him and encourage you that you can overcome whatever you're going through in life, because he overcomes stuff every single day. He's got a limp to him. He's weak on his right side with his hands, just like, hold this, Brad. It's like this hand. Compare your hands. See, that hand's good. That's the strong hand. This one's crippled.
My finger feels different than that.
That's right. He calls this his helper hand. He helps this one out. Most people would grumble and complain because this hand don't work, but he just says that's the helper hand to the good hand. Same way with his legs and his feet. So whoever you are that's watching this, may watch this later, I hope this encouraged you that if a deaf blind boy that's had a stroke before he was ever born, had multiple surgeries on his head and his skull, and he's had many, many setbacks in his life, he's still an overcomer. He can still get the job done. He brings so much joy in everybody's life. The devil tries to tell you done. You can't offer anything to anybody. You let him know he's a liar. And think about my son Bradley, Farmer Bradley. The next time the devil tries to get you down, he inspires me every day. He inspires his mama and the rest of his siblings here, as well as people in our family and at church. This is raw purity right here. He don't even know we've been through a pandemic. He just knows people's been sick. That's all he knows. His mind is pure. He may live to be 105 years old because he has no stress at all. None. Zilch. He loves everybody the same. He sees no color. He sees nothing rich or poor. He sees none of that. He treats everybody the same. I'm a firm believer that God put Bradley, Al, and Michaela and other children, special needs kids, Down syndrome, whatever they are, what the world calls abnormal. They're not really abnormal ones. We're the abnormal ones. They've got it right. Even though they are a disadvantage a lot of things, they love one another. They treat one another right. And I believe God put people like Bradley and my daughter Michaela and other kids and other adults that are in this situation on this earth to teach you and I, one, how to live, how to love one another, how to respect one another, and how to be grateful and thankful for the little things in life. I could go in the house right now and come out with a cup of water and give it to him, and he would thank me more than one time. He's so grateful, so appreciative of everything in his life. And I'm just so glad that God chose me as his daddy and chose Robbie Lynn as his mama. And it's a challenge at times. It gets tough at times, but it's very rewarding. And I thank God, the Lord, every day for Bradley and Michaela and Corey and Gavin, all of our kids being in our life. And I just hope you can be encouraged by this video. And me and Mr. Bradley Monroe, Al, Mr. Farmer Bradley's getting ready to sign off of here. You want to tell the camera bye? Tell everybody bye. Say bye.
Bye, camera.
Bye, camera. He thinks we're talking to a talking camera. But I told him we were going to be the ones doing the talking. But he's a trooper. You can be a trooper. He's an overcomer. You can be an overcomer.
Such a wonderful picture you finally gave me.
Such a wonderful picture. He's got his John Deere shirt on. And he's just an inspiration to so many people. So hope this helped you. Pray for Bradley. Pray for myself, Robbie, Lynn, Michaela, Corey, and Gavin. All of our family, that we'll just always be what God's called us to be and wants us to be. And most of all, that we'll be pleasing to Him, but also be an inspiration to any and everybody we come in contact with, in person, on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, wherever. They got to use us to touch somebody. May God richly bless you and your family. Until next time, remember, Jesus Christ loves you, and Jesus Christ is the answer for any and everything you're dealing with in life. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank y'all.